Hey family, hope all is well. Hope this video finds you all doing well and super thankful for another opportunity for us to connect and to talk about all things fundraising and nonprofit strategic planning and thought. So one of the things I want to talk about today is why every nonprofit needs a fundraising plan. And this has come up because we are in some changing times for our nonprofit organizations, whether you're dealing with funding challenges or changes at the federal level, or even at the state level, or perhaps locally with your local community foundations, nonprofits are forever in this space of trying to figure out revenue and trying to figure out how to continuously sustain its operations. If you haven't done so already, it's going to be imperative for you to have some sort of fundraising plan in place that articulates how your organization plans to raise money on an ongoing basis. I do, let me just raise this point here, and maybe we'll find some time to unpack it as we continue to walk through this video series. One of the things that I have heard throughout my career that people have brought up, particularly executive directors, is not taking on too much money or not raising too much money. Here's kind of like the rub for me when I hear that. I understand the responsibility that comes along with taking on money from funders and the added expectation that is placed upon an organization. But what comes to mind for me is, what about those moments where money dries up, and how do you fill in the gap? How do you plan for those dollars? Because you can't just turn on a faucet and the money comes back, particularly in a time of need. So there has to be a balance between not taking on too much money, but also continuously to raise money. So as we talk about today, fundraising planning, I want to first let you know our new book, Built to Fund, is out. This book is out. Check the link below. Super excited to have that available to you. So check the link below. Download your copy, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you about what you're learning from the book. So go ahead and download my newest book, Built to Fund, and click the link below to get your copy. Now, in the book, we talk about the purpose of fundraising planning and how to structure your mindset around fundraising planning. So I want to share a couple of thoughts with you around this idea and how we should be thinking about fundraising planning. First off, we should have a strategic roadmap in place that documents our approach to aligning our fundraising activities with the mission and the goals of our organizations. So, one of the things to think about is to look at fundraising planning no different from how you look at strategic planning. It's all tied together because you're asking for funds, you're looking for support from funders and partners and stakeholders to specifically support a strategic area in your business or in your nonprofit. And if there isn't clarity on what that thing is, what the purpose is, what the pursuit is, what the goal is, what you're going to find yourself doing is trying to throw any and all fundraising ideas at the wall to see what sticks. And as consumers of those messages, potential supporters of your organization, what we're going to be hearing, unfortunately, will be a bunch of ideas that do not align with what we're seeing on your site, or that do not align with the programmatic offerings that we see in the community. So you have to be clear on what your purpose is, your mission is, the goals, the program offerings, the services you're delivering to your customers, because that message has a direct correlation to what you will be seeking funding for. In fact, within the funding applications, within your marketing materials, sponsorship packages, your financial supporters will be seeking out clear messaging that connects their money, their donation, their gift to what you say you do. Next, you got to be thoughtful about resource allocation, right? So, to be even more specific, you have to have a well structured plan that aids in the allocation of resources so that when those resources are received by your organization, you can deploy them to the right areas and have the most impactful results possible. So, this goes back to our initial point about having a strategic plan in place that's super clear, that is super intentional, because when the funds come in, assuming you've been able to secure them, you got to now deploy them in the right areas so that you can get the right results. Whether it's beefing up program staff, whether it's beefing up your back end staff, whether it's beefing up your recruitment staff, whether it's beefing up your systems and data collection, whatever the case is, that's going to have the greatest impact. The resources that come in, the money that comes in, has to be allocated to the right areas. Now, I hope that you're finding your connection point to what we're saying so far, because I have a few more points to share with you. But at the end of the day, it's going to begin, it's going to end with good planning all the way around. If at any point you need to have a conversation with our team about effective planning, strategic planning, fundraising planning, or facilitated conversations, I want to encourage you to visit us at elipatrick.com. Again, that's elipatrick.com. Shoot us a note so that we can have a conversation about your needs and how we can help facilitate the conversation. Further, I'm going to continue to encourage you to get your copy of my newest book, Built to Fund, where we go over these concepts in detail around the planning of your resources, the planning of fundraising, and how it all comes together. We've put together a workbook to walk through a series of questions that outline the things you should be considering when you're doing fundraising planning that will ultimately help you develop your fundraising plan within your organization. Click the link below or above to get your copy of my latest book. All right, family. So the next thing that we have to think about when it comes to our fundraising planning is the plan of action to engage your donors. Now, when you hear that, you may automatically think about individual donors, those high net worth individuals who everybody is always in pursuit of to acquire their support and their financial support specifically. One of the things that we've worked with our clients to think about is to view funders, individual donors, stakeholders, sponsors through the lens of donors and how to engage them at a high level. What's your plan to consistently communicate a clear message, an approach, and intention behind your work, and how they can come alongside you and your team to support that work? Do you have demonstrated organizational outcomes and professionalism that says our work obviously speaks for itself, and we have the capacity to manage your resources and a portfolio of funders along with yours to continue the work and to become sustainable, right? That messaging is so critical and vital. So when you're communicating a message like that in a grant application, it shows up in how you respond to the questions. It shows up in how you frame your response to the questions, the plan of action in those questions. Perhaps this is a cold outreach that you are engaging in to a specific sponsor or individual. How do you frame that letter or that initial outreach to say, we have capacity, we will love to partner with you? Well, maybe you're making a connection with the potential funder because it's a warm outreach and someone is making an introduction for you, and now you got to close the deal on your own. No matter the placement of the opportunity, it does present for you a challenge to have a clear plan, a clear communication message, and a clear communication methodology to all of your donors and stakeholders to say, this is how we believe we're going to engage with our customers, those that you care about, and we believe you as a donor and supporter can come along that journey with us. If you want to learn more about how to craft your messaging, again, go ahead and download our latest book, Built to Fund, The Fundable Nonprofit. It's a strategic workbook to help you think through how to raise money, build capacity, and sustain your impact. Now, as we continue to work through the idea of developing your fundraising plan and understanding why it's needed, one of the things that we need to reflect on is the importance of its adaptability. All plans, all plans are good for a period of time, so it has a shelf life. Most strategic plans has a shelf life of 2 to 3 years, sometimes 5. But whatever the shelf life is for your plan, one of the things that we encourage our customers to think about is making sure that plan remains flexible and adaptable to respond to unforeseen circumstances and opportunities. So that plan may have some rigidity in it because you want to have some focus to the work and for the staff that's engaged, which I do think is important. But there will be situations and circumstances that will pop up that will require your plan to be adjusted, changed, shifted, etc. Presidential elections, governor elections, mayoral elections, pandemics, other crises that pop up along the way will require you to possibly change your plan. And you have to be in a place where you can look at your plan every so often and make the proper adjustments. You ought to have someone on staff whose job is to monitor the plan on a daily, weekly basis so that you know what goals you are achieving, where you're succeeding, and where you're falling short. That person probably should be responsible for looking at the plan juxtaposed to current and changing market conditions that may require the organization to shift gears. So being adaptable and having that plan to in place that so you can shift gears along the way is key. Now, I do want to jump over really quick and share some thoughts from this site, CauseVox. CauseVox has an article about the fundraising plan for nonprofits and 11 must-do steps for a successful fundraising plan. I do think that there's some things in here that are really, really good. I'm just going to highlight a few of them. But again, when you get your copy of Built to Fund, our latest book, which is a fundraising workbook, designed to help you think about fundraising on a sustainable level, but also to help you identify the action steps you need to put in your fundraising plan, is going to dovetail well with what's in this article. So again, they reflect on a couple of things. One, you have to have a clear idea of your past finances. What's been done? What have you guys raised? How much have you raised? Why have you raised it? What's the source of those funding sources, right? Number two, your plan should be grounded in your mission and your vision. It should be congruent. And we just talked about this in this particular recording here, that there has to be a connection to the mission and vision. Got to have goals, right, in place that make sure that you, as an organization, you're achieving them and that they're relevant, right, to what you're trying to accomplish. And then I'll close with this particular point that they point out. There has to be a big picture that you're trying to accomplish. So at the strategic level, your CEO or your CFO or your CDO, Chief Development Officer, you all, and your CPO as well, and let me add the COO, right? All you all at the senior suite level, you all are looking at a big picture that you're trying to accomplish, something that's specific to the organization, specific to the customers, specific to your stakeholders at large. The funding plan should align with that big picture, right? And this is what we talked about today. If you don't have that plan in place, or you're looking to update your plan, you're looking to refresh your plan, you're looking to strengthen your plan, I want you to go ahead and click on the link below of this video and download your copy of Built to Fund, our latest book and workbook. It's the framework for becoming a fundable nonprofit to help you raise money, build capacity, and sustain your impact. Get your copy today. We also have available cases where you can get printed copies of the book for your entire team, which I do encourage you to get, because you can walk through that book together as a team, separate so everybody can get their own ideas and come back together and plan together so that you can have a refined plan in place. Get your copy of Built to Fund, link in the bio, link below the video. Built to Fund, the fundable nonprofit, our latest book. I am so excited for what's going to happen for you and your organization as you continue to refine your messaging, and as you refine the work that you are engaged in, and as you identify the right funding partners to come alongside you on that journey. My name is Dr. William Clark. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next